There are magicians that can grasp sort of the big picture of the technology of Kabbalah. And of course, tarot to me is the most elegant example of that technology. And some folks just don't get it. Okay. But the thing that's poison to all of it, whether it's us or whether it's people that are into kind of nature worship things, or the biggest poison to it all is superstition.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name is Will and this is the Esoteric Cross. This is a very special video as I have a guest with whom I'm very excited to talk to and ask some questions. You're gonna love this. Lon Milo DuQuette is somebody who could be given countless labels and has been a cornerstone in bringing awareness forward about many topics under the umbrella of the occult. Lon is an occultist, a ceremonial magician. He's a singer, songwriter, musician, and an author, known to bring humor into his works. Not unlike many other musicians, he had an intriguing interest in the world of the occult. He's written so many books that many of you have read, and just to name a few, The Chicken Qabalah, The Magick of Aleister Crowley, Tarot of Ceremonial Magic, Understanding Aleister Crowley's Thoth Tarot, and most recently, a powerful book on tarot that I highly recommend. The Tarot Architect, How to Become the Master Builder of Your Spiritual Temple. This is my pleasure to introduce Lon Milo DuQuette. So how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. I just returned from shopping.
Good introduction question. So I want to know, what has been your main goal of this book, The Tarot Architect? And what was it that you really wanted to get across with people with this book?
Well, basically, I wanted to show that the so-called Kabbalistic structure that makes tarot magical is the same Kabbalistic structure that makes each one of us magical. And so the purpose was, if you're interested at all in tarot for any reason, for meditation, for Kabbalistic study, for fortune telling, if you want, it is helpful to you. As a matter of fact, it's transformationally beneficial for you to realize what a instrument of perfection the tarot is. And I call it like building your own spiritual temple. And each tarot card in its own way, because of its universal significance, is like a brick. Is like a brick in that building. And I wanted everybody to get in intimate familiarity with the tarot, what it means to them, what it means to the dimension that they're in. And I wanted to do it as painlessly and as fun as you possibly can. And in the process of that, I really want you to make your own tarot deck. And so it's not only a book that you can read and digest and hopefully get a few insights and laughs out of, but it's also a program of installing the tarot within yourself with lots of exercises, lots of meditations. It utilizes musical notes, colors, and it encourages you to create your own tarot deck in the same order that existence came into existence. If that sounds like a big order, it is, but it's also fundamentally simple. In other words, I just try to do it all with the book. I've been doing this stuff for over 50 years, and who knows how long I've got left. and it's sort of like uh, well, it's about time I wrote something like this, while I still have half my marbles.
You did a really good job with it. I just ordered my cards today, so I'm gonna get my tarot deck and start coloring, which is something I've been told to do before, but I've never actually done it. So this is gonna be a really special experience for me. So I'm wondering, what is it that you think that people get from coloring their own tarot deck? What is it about creating the cards or creating this experience, maybe of initiation with creating the tarot deck?
Well, because tarot cards are just pieces of painted cardstock, unless you've installed them inside yourself and understand what that is. An example would be like the Fool card. Okay, the Fool card represents all sorts of things, including a wonderful cosmic zero, uh, out of which existence pops into existence. But it also represents the first dimension of space, up and down. And so in the Hebrew Kabbalah, that's the first mother letter of the Hebrew alphabet, Aleph. And there's a note attached to it. Okay, there's a musical note attached to it, and it's yellow, and it extends from your center to infinite height and infinite depth. Okay. If you could just wrap your meat brain around that for a moment, you're well on your way to understanding how the rest of this is going to unfold. The second Hebrew mother letter is Mem, and it's associated with the primitive element of water, and that's the hanged man, and that's forward and backwards. It springs east and west from you, and so that creates that second dimension, and it has a note, it has a color, it has a vowel sound associated with it, and running north and south from you is the third mother letter of the Hebrew alphabet, Shin, fire, the last judgment card. So instead of just starting to understand your tarot deck, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, no, start by understanding those mother letters, because that creates the dimension that you're in. And each of those dimensions has an opposite side. And that opposite side creates the six plus the center, the 7 double letters of the Hebrew alphabet. And I was looking for something here. Maybe I could do this. Well, anyway,
Yeah.
it creates a dimension itself. And so there's 7 tarot cards that go with those planetary spheres. So that's the next thing you tackle, and each of those has a musical note. Each of those has a special color. Each of those has a planetary assignment to it. And if you take it step by step, you don't even know that you're installing this in you. It's just easy to imagine a yellow thing going up and a down and a blue thing going front and the back and a red thing going like that. And right in front of you is the Empress card, and right in back of you is the wheel of. If you do it step by step, it is totally painless. You don't even know that it has happened. And I've got little exercises and stuff that you do. And I encourage you to use whatever tarot deck you like. If you like the Halloween deck, use it. That's just fine. If you like the Alice in Wonderland deck, that's fine. If you like the Rider-Waite deck, that's fine. If you like Tarot of Ceremonial Magic, which is what I've sort of used as an example uh, for us, and actually supply a blank versions of all of the cards of that deck for you to color yourself and add your own flourishes to it. So I encourage you to create your own deck, just like the members of the Golden Dawn were encouraged to create their own deck. And in more modern times, the builders of the Additum, the BOTA people, marvelous correspondence course that does that. So anyway, I just try to do it all.
These connections, you do it all. These connections are extremely powerful, and it's like you said, you don't even realize that it's happening maybe consciously, but there's something really going on at that subconscious level. Uh, I'll never forget these experiences that I had when I was relating the cards to the Tree of Life, and I've been doing it for years and years, and then all of a sudden I start having these dreams that are revealing like this really important information, whether it's how to deal with something within my life. Well, I guess that's the basis of most of this stuff is how to deal with things
Yeah,
that are going on
sure.
in life. But it's just really important information that can be revealed to you through this connection into the subconscious or into the divine consciousness. Um, One thing that I've noticed while I'm, going through these exercises within your book, one thing jumped out at me, and it was the Empress and the Wheel of Fortune behind. And we have that link with water, with the Hanged Man. And I just found that to be really interesting as Rachel Pollack says to split the major arcana into three lines, and she's got the Empress right above that Wheel of Fortune. And for a while, I was trying to understand the connection between these two. And I felt like it made a lot more sense now as we are connecting them with water and noticing how the water flows into the Empress card and then with the Wheel of Fortune. Anyway, it's really interesting the kind of connections that you kind of pick up on as you do this. Um, yeah.
Another wonderful thing about tarot is it deals with images that carry with them their own vibratory level. You mentioned dreams, and the more that you were, familiar with the Tree of Life, or in this case, the Tree of Life, the cube of space, and the great name of God, Yod He Vav He, are what I call in the Tarot Architect our three working tools. And I have a little crash course in each of those to prepare us. But even backing up to a wider shot of everything, the basic Kabbalah axiom is that each of us, each monad of existence, including us, are made in the image of deity. Okay. So our essence is already not only a perfect reflection, but a perfect shard of the Supreme Being. And if that Supreme Being were to be viewed as a vibration, like a big musical note, a B flat or whatever, a B flat, and that B flat was being emanated from a giant tuning fork. Okay, that's the big ohm, boom, that's God. Well, because we're made in the perfect image of that tuning fork, we're a little tiny tuning fork that's been machined to be a B flat too. Okay. So every musician knows that if you got a big B flat tuning fork over here in this corner of the room and it's vibrating, your little tuning fork B flat, without touching it, without doing anything else, starts to vibrate the same B flat. It's not the tuning fork that's God, it's the B flat. And it's not the little tuning fork of you, it's your B flatness.
Mhm.
Uh, I get I get lost in my own analogies here. Uh, so the purpose of Kabbalistic exercises and things like that, because you mentioned once you started working with the Tree of Life, all of your dream patterns changed, and okay, and that's because uh, the reason we're not currently vibrating our B flatness is because our tuning fork is all rusted. There's gunk all over it. Okay, there's dirt and gunge and stuff all over our tuning fork. We're tuning forks all right, but we're really, really tuning forks in bad shape. And what these Kabbalistic exercises are doing, in a sense, is just chipping away at the gunk that is on top of our top of our tuning fork. And the more gunk that's off of it, the more clearly we resonate in harmony or in sympathetic uh, unity with the big tuning fork of deity. And so the more we do it, and the exercises that make us identify with ourselves and see ourselves as a representation of the consciousness levels as outlined in the Tree of Life, or the dimensional existence of the cube of space, or the divisions of Yod He Vav He, the more we knock the gunk off of our tuning fork. And so just naturally, we don't have to do anything. We just have to clean everything that we aren't off.
Yes. And it's gosh, when you stop doing it, when you stop keeping up that hygiene, it's like not brushing your teeth for a week. And I talk to people a lot about this, what happens when you stop performing ritual magic, or you stop meditating, or you stop doing energy work. Um, and it's like you don't really notice it at first, but then it's like, yeah.
Yeah, it's like spiritual constipation.
Well, speaking of music, you were talking in the book. I'm just going to read what I wrote here for a second, paraphrasing, but you said, as you're crafting, your breathing will slow and at times maybe even stop. You free yourself in these moments, as you're painting or coloring these tarot cards. You'll be doing real yoga. You'll be performing true invocations. So this reminds me of the feeling of creating, whether this is a painting, you're in the flow state. It's a powerful, freeing feeling. Personally, I know you can relate. Writing music. For me, it's writing music and playing a song. Can you expand on this idea of invocation within this context, maybe within that flow state, or maybe specifically within music?
Well, the example you gave, the specific one, was uh, the fact that even if you spent just 2 hours creating your coloring in, if you treated it as a coloring book, which you shouldn't, but if you just treated it like a coloring book for 2 hours with your Crayola crayons, you'd be doing a 2 hour meditation on that card. You'd be absorbed in the colors and everything else. Uh, and I use the example that when when you watch a little kid coloring, they'll like bite their tongues. They go, okay. And their breath stops. They hold their breath. Okay. In a sense, the dualistic flow, the dualistic incessant rhythm that we're used to as a perpetual background meditation of dualistic distraction. It's no accident that the first thing the yogis tell you, get control of your breath. Because not that you want to starve yourself or deplete the oxygen level in you or to get you high because you almost suffocate. But no, it's to break you out of the most primal dualistic behavior that you have. In, out, in, out, in, out. And yogis will say, hey, look, you'll get to a spot where you find yourself neither blowing in or out, but still totally connected to the life force itself, to prana, okay. And you're not breathing, but you're just open to it. And the exchange all takes place, you know, to oxygenate yourself, but you haven't breathed in some time. Now you can either sit down in your asana and work on that, or you can start an art project of some kind. You can write a song. You can work on something, and you'll hit that spot. And that spot is the big tuning fork. It's the vibration of the big tuning fork, and that's what you're plugged directly into. And it happens to every artist, whether they're spiritually minded or not. Every artist is a magician.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
Every artist is performing magic with their creations. So
That's powerful. Your analogies are always so spot on, and you make things so simple and easy to understand these complex ideas, which is hard to do, or it takes a great deal of intelligence to be able to do that. So that's I'm so excited. I have this reading list of your books, and I can't wait to just start purchasing and going through each of these. I've got
I
a
can't wait for you to do that too.
I'm sure. No, I'm very excited to do that. I have a few of them here, but this gave me the opportunity to dive deeper into your work specifically. And oh my God, am I glad? I'm so happy that this happened. So I have a question. I want to switch gears a little bit. I have this question about Saturn because this is something that uh, it's a complex topic. I feel like when we get into the idea of Saturn. So your book, We Hold the Universe Saturn in Our Lap. And I feel like Saturn is one of the most misunderstood things within the occult and to a lot of outside viewers of occult topics. Saturn can unfortunately be viewed at as this topic of controversy, maybe within conspiracy theories, and it gets a bad rep. Saturn, being placed with Binah, is representing the great mother of creation, the first sphere of form, the archetypal world, within the archetypal world, and related to primal Earth. We can see themes of Cronus, time, death, birth, and this sphere is above the abyss. It's a pretty heavy topic, and I was just wondering, what can you tell us about Saturn?
Well, in that cube of space, first of all, well, let's just start in that cube of space. There is that black dot that's right in the center. Okay, and then Aleph is that yellow line, and then there'll be a blue line going this way and a red line going that. But it all jumps out of that Saturn. Now, on a tree of life, Saturn is number 3, right there. Now I'm seeing this reversed. I don't know if your
Yep.
viewers are seeing this reversed, but
No,
that's
they'll see it right.
1, 2, 3. Now that's called the supernal triad. That isn't really three things. It's just one thinking about itself.
Hmm.
Okay. Everything is one. You can just lump everything into one big what it is. Okay. There's just one. There ain't no two. If there's a concept of two, it's just one reflecting itself. Because there's no outside of one. One has no place to sit down because all the chairs are inside itself. Okay. Two is the reflection of one. One must have been so bored that it wasn't even aware of the nature of its own existence. So the story goes, my fairy tale story goes, one, for some reason that none of us can ever imagine, and this is all not taking place in time and space. Okay, time and space is going to come later. But one desired to know its own nature. So there was no outside of itself, so it couldn't hold a mirror up and go, oh, that's what I am. It had to reflect itself inwardly. Like a yogi when they center themselves. And so one centered itself to get an adequate idea of what it was, its own omna-everythingness. And so that created a sort of an illusionary concept of two. There's one and its reflection. But immediately, no waiting whatsoever, a third condition was formed from one trying to think about itself. And that was number 3. That's Saturn. And that's the knowledge that there's a difference between its oneness and its reflection. It creates a third condition. So 1, 2, and 3 aren't really 1, 2, and 3. They're just one thinking about itself. And in Greek mythology, or Greco-Roman mythology, Saturn was not a god. Saturn was a titan. And the titans were wild, sort of chaotic forces that came before an ordered universe. Now, the ordered universe would be the rest of the tree. Okay, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. If number 1 said, I am, and said, there's 2. I utter a word. Number 3 is, I hear my word. Okay. I am a word. I hear my word. Any form of extension has to extend into something.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really a profound and very abstract thing to think about. So, and there's no stuff yet in the universe. It hasn't broken into a dimension. And Saturn, number 3, associated with number 3 on the tree of life, every time his wife, had a baby, a baby who threatened to be a 4th condition. Okay, Saturn ate the baby like a cocktail onion. And as long as Saturn was eating its own baby, everything rested. We could say everything rests in potentiality. There isn't there isn't even the vehicle for stuff yet. It's like a snake with its tail in its mouth, just happily doing that. But once, as this fairy tale goes, as once a baby escapes, Saturn's wife got all fed up with this, and she fed him a stone, made him sick. Okay, and she took the baby and spirited it below the abyss to number 4. Okay, and that's the sphere of Jupiter or Zeus, and there's where the gods begin. Zeus, Mars, Apollo, Aphrodite, Mercury or Hermes, and Luna. Okay, those are all the babies that came before that were in Saturn's belly. Just like the, well, you can't really see it. Just like the universe card.
Mm.
Okay. The universe card is a 0. It's the 0, I guess we could now say it's the 0 of the big crunch. When an entire manifested universe goes back again through a 0 into pre-existence.
Mm.
And the first card is the Fool, right there. Let's see, there he is. The Fool, which is the 0 out of which negativity jumps into existence. And everything else is a bookend of these two things. But Saturn is special. It's a planetary sphere, but it's a special planetary sphere. And you mentioned it, it's associated with primitive Earth. And primitive Earth is also special.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's the Yod He Vav He, the great name of God. It's a 4-letter word, but it only uses 3 letters. The final He, it doesn't even get its own letter. It's very special, but it's like bookends of existence too. And tarot plays itself out. This entire scenario, you could say that, well, tarot takes you from A to Z of creation. No, more than that. Okay, it takes you before A into 3 kinds of nothing. It goes from nothing to nothing. That's a big adventure. And that's our adventure. And once we're harmonized, once we've lubricated ourselves with that dynamic, we're functioning more and more as that shiny little tuning fork.
Mm. It makes me think too about Saturn and its relationship to Earth, being that, at least within Golden Dawn rituals, we usually start with like the Saturn point just for like a general banishing or a general invoking, just like within the lesser banishing rituals of the pentagram, or whether it's banishing or invoking, and you're doing it just the regular way of banishing all 4 elements. You usually start with the earth point, or you're going to the earth point, how it's kind of this general stand-in for all of the elements or all of the planets. Is there anything you can say about that?
Well, it's illustrated, it's demonstrated in one of the most basic of the exercises in the book. As you sit down to meditate yourself as creating a tree of life or a cube of space around you, I have you kiss every card. Okay. Okay. It sounds crazy and corny and everything else, but you want to get intimate with your cards, well, kiss every one of your cards. Because if you knew how precious that card really was to your own existence, you'd be kissing it all the time. I have you put the universe card in your pocket. I have you identify with the universe card. And when you start to build that tree of life in your meditation, you have, you are that Saturn point, that universe card. You are the zero. And that universe card is Tav in the tree of life, or in the Hebrew alphabet, and it's the last letter of the Hebrew alphabet. And the first thing that jumps out of you as you start to create dimensional space, and movement within dimensional space creates time. Time is Saturn.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay. The zeroness of your Saturn, the first thing that jumps out of that zero that's at the very end of a creational cycle is another zero, the fool's horizontal extension into infinite height and depth. And that's the fool, the zero that's at the very beginning of a creational cycle. Well, it's not even the beginning. It's before the beginning. And the universe is after everything. Okay. And the fool is before the beginning. And the more that you can see how each of the other attributes of all of these tarot cards are so profoundly in harmony with these almost mathematical musings, the more you really start to appreciate stuff. And as you're walking down at the street and walking over to the coffee shop, you're actually feeling that you're projecting the entire universe out of your universe card in your pocket, you know. So
Yeah, that's powerful. I could talk about nothing forever.
yeah, let's talk about nothing, okay?
No, it's definitely one of the big things within the world of the occult because we just thinking about nothing for a second that we get so caught up in the which for good reason. I mean, we're performing rituals, we're doing something, we're creating something, we're projecting energy in some way, but honoring the nothing from which it all comes from and the nothing that's within inside, and even thinking about how many of us are so scared of the nothingness that's within us, or even the empty void, empty space, not wanting to be silent for a moment, not wanting a moment of presence or something like that. But to dive into it, there's this meditation that I've been doing, which is I just set a timer for 20 minutes and I just descend in this ocean for like 20 minutes with this bucket into this nothingness, into this emptiness, and just kind of wait and see what happens. Um, yeah, it's something that I don't think enough people want to like dive into is that nothingness.
Yeah. And you know, when people first started when transcendental meditation became sort of the cultural in thing to do, you know, and uh, and Maharishi Yogi was he was like the Beatles, you know, guru for, and people said, well, this is pretty much sitting around thinking about nothing, you know, and he goes, yeah, yeah. You mean it isn't hard? You know, you have a mantra and stuff that gets you out of the monkey chatter. Uh, Kabbalists call it the ruach. Uh, but basically, what it is, gee, I thought about nothing for a while. I've got a I got a new novel coming out called Young Aleister Crowley, and it's a fictional novel. Okay, uh, but Crowley is uh, in the bedroom of a mistress, and they've just uh, finished having a wonderful romp, and she's on the bed uh, smoking an opium pipe, and Crowley is sitting on the floor in a yogic posture, and he's wearing her robe. And uh, she looks up at him. He says, "What are you doing?" And he says, "Nothing. It's very difficult." Uh, so, and it really is. It's difficult to do nothing. And then again, you don't know you've done it until you've done it.
Yeah, until after.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, so now I've been looking at your live streams. Somebody's been putting them up on YouTube,
Yeah,
and
bless their hearts.
I just followed your Facebook, so now I'm gonna start going through them and catch them live, hopefully. Uh, gosh, you've got some great stuff on there. So I see you're talking about Enochian magic, and you're talking about things that I haven't really dived into. So I'm I'm gonna be jumping into some stuff that I don't know what I'm getting into yet. But things that I'm familiar with are the concept of angels and demons, and them being aspects of the self and aspects of divinity. And we've been talking about oneness too, as well as nothingness. So this oneness that nothing is really outside. I say this all the time. Nothing is really outside of you. And people can be really afraid to work with demons and angels, even angels, which are viewed to be something so benevolent. What is it that you can tell me, or if there is an easy definition to talk about what an angel or a demon is, and what happens when you invoke one?
Well, they're personifications of levels of consciousness. The highest uh, level, or the highest being, would be the singularity itself, which everyone likes to call God. But most people have a really limited view of what that is. But anyways, angels, demons, spirits, intelligences are all part of a hierarchy of consciousness. And I always get grief from people that say, "Oh, DuQuette says it's all in your head." No, DuQuette says it's all in your head. You just have no idea how big your head is. Your head is so big, there is no outside of it.
Mhm.
So obviously, everything's in your head ultimately. Okay.
Yeah.
And angels and spirits and demons and everything else, whether they manifest as benevolent influences on your life, or if they manifest as destructive elements in your life, they are still yours.
Mhm.
Okay. And in a sense, you're responsible about how uh, they work in your life. So over the years, well, nowadays physicists are just saying right out in the open, existence itself is a aspect of consciousness.
Mm.
Everything. It's an aspect of it's a frequency of consciousness. And with the idea of uh, quantum quantum physics ideas. Now it's perfectly normal and almost measurable now that two particles can be in two places at the same time, or one particle can be in two times at the same time, just like magicians have been working with that concept since prehistoric times. And so the idea that different spiritual traditions have made it an attempt, and usually a pretty good attempt. And in the case of the Greek or especially the Hebrew Kabbalah, the technology, the anal retentiveness of the mathematical, okay, because you're working with the Hebrew alphabet, and each of the letters is a number, and numbers have resonances and harmonies and disharmonies with another, and so you can say a word in Hebrew, and it really doesn't get along well with another word, just because of the mathematic dissonance or harmony between the two, and certain technology has already been there, and that's why we study Hebrew Kabbalah and stuff. It's not that we're going to turn to any religion or another, or that we believe in an anthropomorphic God or angels with real feathers and things like that. But we've got a technology already at our disposal for our understanding of things to be able to work with. In the same way as a great poet has the same letters and words of their language as a terrible poet has, or somebody that doesn't write poetry at all. They work with the alphabet, they work with the language and the vocabulary, and so there are magicians that can grasp sort of the big picture of the technology of Kabbalah. And of course, tarot to me is the most elegant example of that technology. And some folks that just don't get it. Okay. But the thing that's poison to all of it, whether it's us or whether it's people that are into kind of nature worship things, or the biggest poison to it all is superstition.
Hmm.
Yes, I believe in the objective reality of angels and demons, but they're not what everybody thinks they are. But they're realer than anybody can possibly conceive of. Okay. And superstition, especially superstition that is triggered by fear, is just like poison. And it doesn't get any better. And the more you're dominated by it, the sicker you become.
Hmm. Yeah, people who are very superstitious about demons, or like getting possessed by a demon, or this is something that's externalized from them that can, well, I mean, I guess demons do take you over and they do get what they want, but I mean, it's not outside of you. But people who come at it from that lens, I don't know if they should be doing magic, if it's like the right path for them. But I do get some of that sometimes, like people will come to me with that. Um,
Yeah,
so yeah. Mhm.
I don't want to cast negative aspersions to anyone. Um, it's easy to throw around the term mental illness when you don't know what mental illness is. Mental illness is a real thing that almost all of us in one way or another deal with aspects of it, and it's a real life thing. People are working hard at it, and normal people. I'm not casting negative aspersions on those who are. It's an illness, just like chickenpox or or anything else. But I would say mentally imbalanced people, sometimes mentally unbalanced people, are attracted to magic because it offers an escape from their existing pathologies. And those people are probably not the, magic is probably not the best therapy for them, because it sort of amplifies those pathologies instead of neutralizing them.
Yeah, and I wonder too if it has to do with what the cause maybe of these pathologies are, because I I have these experiences myself, like before getting into magic, where there might have been like a heightened sense of anxiety or maybe depression, but not, you know, psychotic or any of
Right.
those types of things. And I mean that in like a medical term, not like derogatory.
Right.
But I mean, I noticed that when I started performing magic, it's almost like these pieces that were fragmented of consciousness just start to kind of merge together, and slowly but surely there is this stronger vessel. Uh, so I don't know. I think it might depend on the pathologies, or maybe it depends if it's something that's chemical, or I don't know.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
chemical imbalance,
Mhm.
and I think much of it actually is. Okay,
Mhm.
not that they take chemicals; they don't need to. They're just the way uh, they're physically triggered. But because over the years, and I've been doing this a lot, and in the old days, I used to get hard copy letters uh, forwarded to me. You know, people would write my publishers. My publishers would forward me letters uh, that I could really tell. And I'm not a mental health expert at all. Okay, but I could tell that they're giving too much objective reality behind their experiences with spirits. And it's sort of the classic uh, the demon wants me to make a deal. The demon says he'll do this and that if I do this or that, I'll and and they go down this rabbit hole with the spirit, and it's really uh, sad to see. And ultimately, I can see that there's something. And again, I'm not a psychologist in any way, but I can see that it's triggered by a basic and understandable, uh, but sort of out of control fear. Uh, and it would just be best for them to stay away from the art form of magic.
Mhm.
Because what, in my opinion, what makes magic work is that you've got a handle on what all of these things are, and like a wonderful biologist whose sense of wonder at all creatures, even hideous poisonous spiders and things like that, the wonder of their art form, of their science, they'll reach down and they'll grab a huge old spider like that, just oh, look at this one. Oh, and he bites too, you know. Oh, God. Or like when Laura Dern in Jurassic Park, uh, she sees this triceratops sick on the ground, you know, and she sees all this triceratops poop, uh, and she rolls up her sleeve and just reaches down into that triceratops poop to find out what made it sick, you know. Magicians have to stick their elbow into a lot of shit. And okay, and they have to have that wonderful detached spirit of magical wonder
Yeah.
to make it all work
Yeah.
because they own it all. And so you might as well roll up your sleeves and see what it is that's making
It's
making
better
your
than not doing
triceratops
it.
sick. Yeah.
It is better than not doing it.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Certainly better than running away from it.
I agree. I agree. So I know I've got to wrap this up, but if I have one last question is what would you advise for somebody to do who is getting into tarot, getting into the deeper aspects of tarot, like this, its relationship with Kabbalah, its relationship to ceremonial magic?
Uh, Start by reading kind of what you're attracted to, and be particularly interested and pay particular attention to what pleases you
Hmm.
the most, what gives you the most pleasure at any given moment, and your pleasure uh, will drive your interests in the right direction.
Awesome. This was such a really good conversation, and man, I'm so happy and thankful that you are here and that we were able to do this interview. Hopefully everything, went smoothly from my first interview, but it was such an exciting journey to go on with you and to talk about all of these topics. Where
Well,
can
thank you,
people,
thank
yes.
you for keeping me out of trouble this afternoon.
Not a problem. Oh, where can people find you? Where can people connect with you?
Uh, Lon Milo DuQuette .net, not .org, but .net, will take you to the books and the music, and if you've got the Tarot Architect, it'll take you to places where you can download all the images that you can print out in any size you want, and so that's a good one. And if you're on Facebook, please friend me on Facebook or follow me. And I'm just now getting into Substack, and I don't know my way around, but who knows uh, how things are going these days. You might want a couple platforms, so just look up Lon DuQuette on Substack, but primarily on Facebook.
Awesome. I'll have the links to all of these in the description of this video.
Okay.
Yeah, but special thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for everything that you do within the occult magic tarot community for spreading light, spreading words that people need to hear. You do a great service to this, so
Well,
thank you.
thank you for helping me do that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Hope you have a good rest of your evening. Enjoy the stuff that you bought from your shopping trip.
Gonna, gonna tear right into those toothpicks. Yeah.
Have one for me.
All right.